All right. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Today is April 24th, 2024. Your Success Concierge is in the building. Very happy, excited to be here. Salute to everybody checking in. I saw Mile High Gambler in the chat. Salute to you. I'm guessing you riding high, mile high, on that big win that your team, if you're a fan of the team, got the other night. And if you was gambling and you put money on there, enjoy your winnings, right? Not just a salute and shout out to the playoffs going on. A couple teams doing some things, couple teams disappointing, but such is life, and that's what's going on. So, what do we have going on today? Let's start off with the scent of the day. Man, let me tell you something. I picked this scent specifically for the case study. This is Bond number nine, Coney Island, right? And this particular fragrance, I like it because it is somewhat aquatic. It has the salt, it has the margarita and caramel. So it's good for warmer weather because it's got that light scent to it and it's gonna really project. And then the caramel, the sweetness, saltiness, hey, that's good for being out by the beach, out by the water, whatever you so decide to do. Let's see who else we got here. We got Miss Denise Mobley. Welcome. Salute to you as well. But yeah, that is what we have going on here. We're in well into the spring season. This is when people are starting to, depending on where you live, because I have people who listen to me all over the world, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, Caribbean, South America, North America, Africa, Asia, Europe, everywhere. So depending on where you are, it's that, we're changing in the season. We had daylight savings time here in the Western Hemisphere last month, so your days are going to be getting longer. That means you're going to have more and more sunlight coming up until June 21st. More opportunity for you to get outside, more opportunity for get some sun, vitamin D, fresh air, revitalize yourself. Just go out and enjoy yourself. All right, so this is really one of my favorite times of year because it's starting to get warm, and you can still wear some of your cooler weather fragrances, cooler weather stings, as well as some of your warmer weather as well too. So it's very versatile time. I'm enjoying it as well too. I kind of went with a light and dark kind of colorways today, just to give you a little bit of variety and blend and mix in what it is that I do. So what is it I do? I'm a personal corporate brand image consultant, and so, what I do is I provide strategies and insights for individuals and businesses to achieve their desired outcomes by maximizing the ABCDs of image. What does that do? That helps you make a good first impression because you only got one shot, and avoids you the stress, time, and wasting of money from not making a good first impression, not reaching your ideal client, not getting the outcome that you want, or better yet, going backwards instead of forward. So that's kind of what I like to do as it relates to that. So let's get into the topic. We talk about image congruence, and we talk about image overall. So as we always review on this channel here, images comprise images comprise of four main areas: appearance, behavior, communication, and digital footprint. And the one thing that people focus on the most because is appearance, and that's just one portion of your image, right? Because yeah, 90% or 85%, whatever you want to say, of your image is or of communication is nonverbal. So that's what they see, how you appear, your body language, your posture, all those things make a difference. But the key is when we talk about congruence is authenticity. So is your behavior in line with your outcomes or the line with the things that you want to do? Is your communication in line? Is your digital footprint in line? So let's think about this from a mindset perspective, right? So let's just say you're an individual and you value being safe, right? And so if you value being safe, you're going to take actions like, oh, I want to stay in the house. I'm going to do A, B, C, D just to be safe. But you also want to be adventurous. Those two things are in conflict. They're not in congruence. So they're going to be pushing things away from what you want to do. All right. I had another example of a client, a young lady I was working with. She had a floral business. And so her business was, you go to these areas and you see like beautiful flowers, landscapes. You might see it outside of a courthouse, a hotel, a business. She did those beautiful floral arrangements, that landscaping like that. But she had a black and white card. So that's not incongruence to your messaging, right? And then there was another company that I was working with, and one of the things they asked, or one of the people who asked, he said, "Why do you all? How do you have such pleasant and smiling employees? What do you do to get them to be like that?" And the person said, "Well, we don't do anything to get them to be like that. We get them already like that." So that's where congruence comes in because people like to do business and be around people they know, like, and trust. And congruence means you're in line on all those aspects. Now, as it relates to image, if you're not in congruence, you could be sending mixed messages. You could be miscommunication. Sometimes this is conscious, sometimes this is not conscious. And that's why you want to be in congruence or focus on being in congruence, not just in your appearance, which we focus a lot on, but also too in your communication, your behavior, and to an extent your digital footprint. Now, the topic the person we doing a case study today is Master P, and I wanted to do something similar as a contrast, right? So last time we did Diddy, Mr. Combs, and he represents one side or one portion of the record industry, right? And one of the things we talk about overall is music entertainment is competitive, it can be cutthroat, but how can you still survive and thrive in that particular space? And so I wanted to come with someone on the opposite end of the spectrum. So that's how I came up with our individual for today, Master P. So we're gonna go ahead and get in this. Let's check the chat. I see, yeah, Maha Gambler, there's no time like the present. And so what happened see, here's the thing, right? Like, I know you said you wish you had found me 10 years ago. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, maybe not even 5 years ago. So we're constantly growing, constantly improving, and the lessons and things that you learned from 10 years ago, that made you who you are today, good or bad. And you can reflect on that change and make improvement, or you can do some things to enhance what you've already been doing. So you here, you at the right place at the right time. So that's always good to hear. But I appreciate that. I appreciate being able to support, add value, and whatnot as well too. So let me go ahead and pull this up right here. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get into the slides right quick. Let me take a quick sip of water. Check the chat out. Yep, mannerisms. All right, let's go right here as well too. All right, share screen. All right, so again, this is I am Eric Call, your success concierge, and today we're going to talk about image congruence. We got a case study on Percy Miller, Master P. So let's get started. So this is an individual that many people know a bit about because he's been well known. It doesn't really matter what your age is. If you were a little bit mature, you grew up around this. If you're a little bit younger, you see some of the things he's doing and some of the things that his family members and children are doing. But I'm very excited to talk about this individual, talk about image congruence and how he has utilized that to not only have success but also have longevity, and he's respected by his peers as well too, even those who don't, as we'll talk about later, even those who don't necessarily get along with him. So this is my image congruence case study on Master P. So let's get started. All right, so y'all know how I do over here. It don't matter who it is. If I find a kid's picture, I'm gonna find it. All right, so this is him holding his trophies as a young man. He was born in New Orleans on April 29th, 1967. So today is April 24th. So I'm going to wish you a happy birthday early to you. He's got three brothers and one sister. One brother he talks about in his music. He passed, and then he has another brother who's also in the music industry, C. Murder, who is currently incarcerated. They're working to get him free. And then his younger brother Silk, the shocker, he grew up in Third Ward, New Orleans, Calliope projects. All right. So let's talk about some of his starts. So he was always into sports He got a scholarship to University of Houston, but he ended up moving to California. So he dropped out there and then eventually went to Merritt College in Oakland to major in business. Because one of his mindsets was he had street life, had a little bit of that, but he wanted to have the business aspect of it and the business side so he could be successful in those. So one of the things, he got a $10,000 malpractice settlement from when his grandmother passed. And so that was what he used to start his business, his seed money, and No Limit Records and Tapes was born. And so he started doing music even at that time. So you see right here, this is old print, right? And so he released his first tape, Mind of a Psychopath. That was his first album. And then what really made him kind of shift his focus was his brother Kevin Miller was killed. And so he was kind of doing both. He was doing a little bit of street, a little bit of music. And he's like, okay, now I got to really focus on this, on the music thing and the business aspect of it because he saw people close to him dying. All right. So he's in California. He's out in California area. And so this is some of the things he did there. So going back to 1991, his first studio album, Getaway Clean. Another one was Mama's Boy in 92. And then TRU, The Real Untouchables, that's what they were called. He released a couple albums for them. Now, fun fact, he was opening for Tupac. They met, and he really inspired Master P during that time. But one of the things they were opening, I want to say this show was in Cleveland, Ohio. They called him Mr. P, and he was a country music singer, right? Because Master P being from the South, going out on the West Coast and some of these other areas, they perceived him as a country rapper. And so they thought he was a country singer, right? So he started doing collaborations. This one of his third solo albums, The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me, and then he did West Coast Bad Boys. And then one of the songs that many people are familiar with, if you haven't heard it, go and listen to it. I'm About It. That was his first major hit that did very, very, very well. And then in '95, he returned to New Orleans. You'll see him with some of the artists here. You see his brothers in the back, Snoop here in the middle, Mia X right there. And he just started releasing albums. Ice Cream Man. He true to the game with Silk and C Murder, Ghetto D. That's had that classic song, Make 'Em Say, everybody was singing that. Even Shaq was in the video. The Last Dime, Only God Can Judge Me, Ghetto Postage, had the 504 Boys with the song Wobble Wobble. But not only that, No Limit was pretty much releasing albums all the time, almost like weekly. All the people you see on the screen here, Snoop had albums, C Murder had albums, Silk had multiple albums, Me and X. You had the 504 Boys, Sons of Funk, R&B. I mean, they touched almost every single genre, funk, R&B, rap, hip hop, all those types of things. And even with this right here, when he moved to New Orleans, he was one of the first individuals who had in-house music production, and that was something that was later copied by, or not copied, but brought on again by Cash Money as well too. And as they had Manny Fresh, No Limit had Beats by the Pound. And so before that, just like you have all these independent producers, like for example, you have Timbaland. He may do a track for Jay-Z. He may do a track for Ludacris, such as so forth. Swiss Beats does tracks for a lot of individuals. Well, they brought it in house, and one of the reasons they did that is one, they had more control, they had more access. You could keep them working, keep putting out albums all the time, but it increased your profits as well too. You didn't have to say, oh, okay, I need to get permission from this person or that person. So that was one of the first things that they did. Also signed a major independent deal that that allowed them to be in more control. So they had independent music, but then they had a distribution deal as well too. So then going forward, he started Gutter Music with his son, and that was from 2005 to 2007. So they had an independent label. He released a couple albums. One thing that he did was the 504 Boys, We're Gonna Bounce Back. That was a tribute. Well, no, that was used to benefit the victims or the people who suffered from Hurricane Katrina, because that was around that time he was affected by that as well too. And then one thing, this was very extensive, because he has so many albums, so many projects, so many collaborations. It would have took me forever to list them all. So I just did 2010 to present, his business, No Limit Forever. Um, that's where they were at. And so he's done many collaborations with artists, tours in 2003 as well too. And then film and TV. You see here, he got I Got the Hookup, which is a funny movie there. Up here at the top left, you see him on Dancing with the Stars. And then he was in that movie Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage. He has a whole list of other movies as well too. And then he did a TV show with his son Romeo, on Nickelodeon. But it's always been a family affair. He has his family all throughout the business. So you see him in the kind of casting director chair. That's him with his brothers, uh, Silk and C Murder. And then also too, this is Moby D. I can't say the D part because it's we family friendly over here on the broadcast, but that's him as well too. That's his cousin, and then you see him and his son, Romeo, and then also too he has a daughter who had a show on Nickelodeon as well too. And then this is a little bit out of order, but in 2001 to 2005, it was the new No Limit, and that's when he had a couple partnerships, one with Koch, one with Universal Records, and at that time they filed bankruptcy. But you see, they've bounced back to No Limit Forever. That's why he formed Gutter Music in between that time. But some people know, some people don't know. Master P was into sports entertainment. He was a hooper. All right. So he initially went to University of Houston on an athletic scholarship, but he played in the CBA for the Fort Wayne Fury, and then he had a couple stints in training camps in '99, early in the year with the Charlotte Hornets, and as you see on screen here, he had a picture. He played with the Toronto Raptors. Became close with Vince Carter, recent Hall of Fame inductee. Shout out to Vince Carter. And then a couple ABA, NBA, IBL teams in between. He did do summer league training camp in 2004 for the Denver Nuggets, and then 2005 for the Sacramento Kings. And then McDonald's All-Star Celebrity Game, he scored 17, and he coached AAU. And some of the people who coached with AAU was Brandon Jennings, who played, I want to say, for the Bucks. Larry Stevenson played for the Pacers as well as the Lakers. And then DeMar DeRozan, I know he played for Toronto. I think he's playing for Chicago right now. And then he appeared on WCW Monday Nitro, as well as you. That's what you see him here. And then he purchased a wrestling promotion company, House of Glory, in 2019. And he's got so many other business ventures as well too. All right, so No Limit Records. I know around 1998 they were very, up. They were well into their peak. So they did 110 million, 100 million plus in that time. He had No Limit Films, which we talked about some of the things. He had No Limit Comedy, Eddie Griffin, Foolish, and he had comedy tours. No Limit Communications, P. Miller Properties, that's his real estate company. His sports management, which didn't do as well as he would like to. And then this brand right here, Uncle P's. This came out in the controversy of like Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima. Um, this was a time culturally where we were in a space where business, I guess we could say it was cancel culture. You could call it that. And so instead of having certain images that portrayed people, like for example, Aunt Jemima, that was a syrup, and it had an image of a black woman, and Uncle Ben's a black man with rice. And so the brand decided to go take Uncle Ben's off and go to Ben's, and then I can't remember what they call Aunt Jemima's, but nonetheless, they removed the ethnic individuals, black individuals from those brands. So P thought it was an opportunity to have a black food company. So he does rice, he does grits, syrup, a couple other things as well too. He even had a Foot Locker franchise as well as Advanced Travel. So he's always been forethought and forethinking. And I think even recently he's got into doing seminars and teaching people about business as well too. That's something he's done recently as well. But let's talk about the impact he had on people. And this is just a few people that I looked at and I saw as well too. So you got him with Snoop. And for those of you who don't know Snoop, or you know Snoop where he is now, maybe not before, Snoop, music artist, for quite some time, he was on the record label Death Row Records. That was him, Tupac for the time before he passed, Dr. Dre before he left, as well as some other artists. And then it was owned by Suge Knight. Now, Suge Knight, he's known. He's had some ties to the underworld and intimidation tactics, and so essentially, Snoop wanted to have a fresh start. And so Master P went and bought Snoop's contract out, gave Suge Knight and Death Row some points, and he allowed Snoop to be his own person. And then on top of that, he allowed Snoop to start taking ownership and teaching him the rules of the game like that. And then once his obligation to him was done, he released him. Now, Snoop come out and said that Master P could have taken like 10% or 20%. I can't remember what the exact number was, but he said he could have took a percentage of what Snoop did from then on in perpetuity, but he didn't. He gave it all back to them. All right. Eddie Griffin, he gave him, he's a comedian, and so Master P gave him an opportunity because he was doing some minor things, had some minor setbacks, but he gave him an opportunity, invested in him. They did a movie as well as some tours. And then he coached AAU, as I showed you. And then this is DeMar DeRozan right here on the left side, along with Lil Romeo. But DeMar DeRozan has been a professional basketball player for quite some time. But one of his statements was, "I'm forever grateful for having him in my life. He talks about life, how to understand business, the business of basketball. He was, in a sense, a father figure." So it impacted him. And then Louisville, Kentucky. So the significance of Louisville, which I'm looking forward to going to next week, Kentucky Derby. But the significance of Louisville is when after Hurricane Katrina, different people, as the city was flooded, different people was getting evacuated or relocated to different parts of the country. So some of his family members, including his grandmother, got relocated to Louisville, Kentucky. And so as a result of that, he's forever grateful for them. He's done charity work, different type of projects for them and the community. And he said Hurricane Katrina showed him about serving and really serving others on a volunteer level, so to speak. And then Cash Money. Cash Money is another record label. They're also in New Orleans, but they were rivals. And one thing that they respect each other, but they never had beef. Master P has come out and said this. Birdman has come out and said this. He just said, "No, I respect his hustle. I respect everything he does, but we just didn't mesh well. That's why we didn't work together." And so that's a sign of respect when you can have people who you don't necessarily agree with. They're in your space, and you can learn from them as well as compete with them, but there's no animosity, so to speak, as it relates to that. And that was something that we see in contrast to some of the other things that we see about in the music industry. All right. So accolades and honors. He got an honorary doctorate degree from Lincoln University. He's inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. That's what you see down here. A couple of things. He got a 2001 favorite rap and hip hop artist award from the American Music Awards. And then I know it's 2005, and we've had some time pass since then. He was ranked 28th of the most influential rappers of all time. That may have moved up, down, depending on what your opinion, but he's also one of the top influential Black music executives. And I don't think that will ever change because, again, he's laid his mark as it relates to business in music and owning your ownership, distribution, and set the model that a lot of different artists use to this day. And then philanthropy, as I said, he community service in Louisville. He was given the keys of the city to Louisville as well as to Memphis. In '99, he donated 500,000 to the Catholic elementary school he attended, as well as two nearby churches. He's got his P. Miller Youth Centers, as you see right here from this particular picture. He talks about things to empower kids, entrepreneurship, get them away from things that can be detrimental. I know even in Louisville, he talks to them about animals and business, caring for your community, caring for yourself, veterinarian work, all those types of things as well too. Just exposing kids or youth, shall I say, to things they not normally may be exposed to. Then of course his P. Miller Food Foundation helps with that. And then he's from New Orleans, so he's very prominent in that community, uh, pre and post Katrina. All right, personal life didn't really get too much into that. He was married to Sonia. They got married in '89. They got officially divorced in 2022. I mean 2021. 2022 is in December, and then they have 7 children together. And then he has one adopted from his brother, and then one outside child, and then two of his more famous children that is Romeo and Symphonique, just because they have appeared in TV and media and sports. And then just recently, he had a daughter who passed at the age of 29. But he's also had setbacks. One of the big ones was his brother Kevin Miller was killed, and then early on, I think they want back taxes from like when he first started his business, so he had to pay 2.3 million in back taxes, and then of course, he filed bankruptcy, what we talked about earlier. Hurricane Katrina was in 2005, so he lost homes, cars, family members at that time. And then he had some issues with his son over money. But one thing, he handled it privately, and well, he handled it, and they have reconciled. And then the other thing I didn't put up here, but you see the picture. His sports management deal company didn't last long because Ricky Williams, as you see here, he was a Heisman Trophy runner. I think at the time he might have had the rushing record for college football. Very top prospect. I think he was top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He was drafted by the Saints, but Master P had him signed, and they got an incentive-laced contract where he didn't do as well as he would like to, and that was one of the major setbacks on that. But because of his perseverance, his other things, he was able to not only bounce back and have success as well too. So some of his things from his mindset was he wanted to build. He always said he wanted to build the biggest record company. He's family oriented, so you see that he has his family members in the business as well, putting them in a position to be successful. One of the things I read about him as well too is he would put frames of his music and articles, even when he was in Richmond, California, before he became famous, putting it on the wall like he was platinum and he was successful. So he had that mindset, and he used hustling to market his mixtape. So a couple of things that I saw about that, he would go into a city, he would see, okay, who's the guys or people with the fanciest cars, whether they D-boys, businessmen, all those type of things, and he would give them tapes because he was like, okay, these are influential people because people like to see the flash, they like to see the bling. They're playing that music. That's how he's going to brand and market himself. And then he may see some homeless people, he would give them T-shirts with his logos because now these people are walking billboards. And then he's also about persistence. So before he got Bout It play, it's a funny story. It's almost like a story similar by Les Brown. But he went to the radio station. He said, "I got this song for you." He said, "What's it called?" He said, "Bout It, Bout It." And he said, "Man, get out of here." And so he came back the next week, and he told him the same thing. So he came back. I don't know how many weeks, but he came back so many weeks. The guy said, "Okay, I'm tired of you coming in here. I'm gonna put this on." And so he put that song on, and it was a hit from there. He's always been someone who persists, overcomes different things, and then no beef. One thing he talked about, he wouldn't rap about other individuals on records, and he tries to handle things outside the public, which is good. And then self confidence and value. I remember, one of the stories when he was getting started, he was saying this guy offered him 1 million, right? And he said, "You got to let me know today." He said, "Well, I want to think about it." And the guy told him, he said, "If you don't sign this deal right now, you're not gonna ever work in the business. This deal is gonna be off the table." So he went back, and this is before he really started getting money like that. He went back and he told his brother. He said, "Man, what do you ain't gonna take the money?" And P's mindset was, "Well, if that guy gonna offer me 1 million, I must be worth 10, 12, etc." So he always believed in himself and his value. All right, let's talk about the ABCDs, right? So with him, he's got an urban style personality. He's going to have, he's gone through some changes throughout time, but he still has had that. Um, urban street personality. Even in this suit right here, the hat that plays it off, and then you see him with the shades, the all black, the necklace. Um, he does wear suits on occasion, but it's typically to business events or things that require it. In his personal, in his consistent life, that's not what he's doing. But you can see there. Let's talk about behavior. Like I said, no beef, the work ethic, treating people fairly, showing up. So you see him at Suns games, see him with family. And he's always been business oriented and been consistent, right? But the key thing is how he's treated people. One of the things he always said was if someone wanted to leave his record label or leave like his business, he let him leave. He said, I'm not trying to hold someone here who doesn't want to be here. I'm not going to put no strings attached to it. I'm just going to let him go. So that's something that he's done. And I think that is why he's able to have the longevity that he's had this long with that, right? And so communication, always branding, always marketing, branding. He lived on that. I'm a country rapper. So he said, I'm going to do things different. And then he kept things private. All right. And then documentation. He's been in Forbes. You've seen him in sports. You've seen him in music. You have seen him on TV. So he's someone who has a strong digital footprint in how he does things, and part of keeping things private, as well as highlighting his success and highlighting the things he does. That allows him to be consistently incongruent. And even though his image and appearance and things have changed, his behavior, even as he's learned and grown, he's been consistent in that, and that's what we call congruent. We never saw him really step out something that he really wasn't, and that's why he's able to bounce back, be successful, and continue to grow and thrive. So thank you for that part of the case study. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the case study. All right, so let's see what we got going on in the chat. Let me come out of here and see what we got going on here. Okay, let's see here. Phone died, man. Hopefully you got your phone worked out, Mile High. I do this, but I also do tech as well too, because I have a passion for that. Probably got it from my dad and other people in my family. They're builders. They like to do things. They like to create things. So yeah, I've always had an appreciation for that. Appreciation for tech, making things better. Let's check out what we got in the chat right here. And then we're going to go to questions. Let me put this up here in case anybody wants to join the chat. Welcome to do that. But as always, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, get into it. And we're going to answer your question. Well, see, now I'll explain something to you, right? So it is a combination of being a jack of many trades, but a lot of things are in alignment. And what I mean by that is what I do in tech is about, creating for businesses, making sure they're reaching their ideal customers, making sure they're marketing their strategy from a technology standpoint is meeting their needs. So that's really what I do as an image consultant. One is using tech. The other is using your canvas, your physical canvas. But it's really about understanding the outcomes they want. And if it's a customer-based outcome, what is important to those customers? How do we craft the message, the technology, so they can go through the best experience and then get an outcome? So it's the same over here too. It just it seems like a lot, but it's a lot that's in alignment as well too. And that's why I enjoy it. I'm just someone who has a natural curiosity. I like to learn. I like to have new experiences. I like to just continue to grow my mind and grow things. And the reason I do that, one, I have a natural curiosity. But the second thing is it allows me to serve individuals who tune in here, individuals who hire me for my services, individuals who work with me. That's what I do. So it's constantly growing, constantly sharpening your tool. A lot of stuff you see, a lot of stuff you don't see, but it's coming, and you're going to see more and more of that because I want to make sure constantly getting better to meet you, the listener, the viewer, the needs you have. The same is true for anyone who wants to hire me, work with me, and then collaborations that I may do with other people. Because if I go on a platform or if I go into a space, I want to make sure that I'm adding value to that particular space. All right, cool. So let's go over here. Let's see what type of questions that we have here. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's get this one out the way. What do you think is going to happen to Diddy? I do not know. But and here's the thing, right? As it relates to Diddy, it could go a number of ways. And I'm not the legal expert. I got friends on YouTube who will provide legal analysis. And when it comes to things that's put in public, I like to do my own self investigation and read. So, for example, I know if something comes on a program, whether it's good, bad, or what have you, someone is trying to share a message, right? But typically, those type of things, if they say, okay, he had this document here, right? So instead of getting paraphrased, I'm the type of person I want to read the document and understand because I don't need someone else's interpretation. I want to get my own understanding. I want to go, as they say, to the original source. So right now, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of things that's up in the air, and I don't think he's been charged at this point unless I missed something. But I know he's under investigation, and what's going to come of that, that's yet to be seen. But I'm going to follow the evidence where it leads me, and get an understanding and make my assessments on that because there's a lot of unknowns. Because one, I'm not in the inner circle. I'm not privy to what's being investigated. I know there's people coming out the woodwork saying this and that. I have not been able to verify or see if it's true or not true. So with that, I don't make assessments on that without having all of the information. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, we'll go. Let's see what else we got right here. All right. How do you feel about fashion trends? All right. So fashion trends, that's the interesting thing, right? And it's an interesting question because I go back and forth with people on this all the time. Trends come and go. And so my recommendation is always because I don't want my clients having items that don't get used consistently. And so if you're doing things with trends, that could change in a week, that could change in a month, that can change in a second. Just going with that, right? So you may remember I did a video about those big red boots. They were hot probably 6 weeks, maybe longer. They cost $300-400. And now you don't see people talk about them, doing them, or whatnot. And that was probably about a year ago. All right. And I say that to say this depends on your style personality, right? It depends on your style personality and your budget. And the reason I say that is because let's just say this new trend comes out and you want to wear this outfit, this style, this whatever. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to fit your style personality. And you may buy it, spend it, and then just not feel comfortable. It doesn't work for you. And you're just not satisfied with the product or outcome you got from that. And that's not a good feeling to have to buy something and then not be able to get good value out of it. And just because you see it in the store does not mean you should buy it. The store's job, the website's job is to sell you the product. And many of these things are things you might buy once or twice, but you'll come back and buy something different, right? So their goal is to move units. So they use influencers, they use models, they use celebrities, they use all kind of individuals to tell you to go and buy this product. Or in this case, we're talking about this outfit, and it may or may not suit you. So as it relates to fashion trends, let's talk about your style personality. So if you're someone who is got bad boy player, those type of things, then you can pull, some people call it swag. It's not really swag, it's style personality, right? You can pull off some of those certain things. Now, mind you, a celebrity, they could go spend on a lot on an outfit, wear it one time, donate it, or maybe even get it for free. Whereas you have to be mindful of the dollars that you're spending on those type of things. And then the other concept I want to make as well too is we've gotten away from a lot of formal and business attire. And what I mean by that is back in the day, formal was tuxedos, black, straight, maybe white, and then even super formal is the tuxedos with the tails. Now they have semi-formal, which is a new category, and sometimes semi-formal they mix it with formal, but semi-formal where you can wear the colorful down jackets, you can wear the paisleys, the bling, of the different types of shoes. That wouldn't be considered formal, but a lot of leeway is given. Same is true in business. Back in the day, business men and women used to wear suits. They used to wear outfits like that. But now you can wear jeans. Certain industries, they allow you to wear graphic tees, all those types of things as well too. Yeah, shout out to TLA, the lead attorney. He's putting in work. Um, he's definitely doing his thing right there. All right. Yep. Yeah, no, I see you out there, Maha. Yeah, you can always join, but I know you're driving, and so the main thing when we do this over here is we want people to be safe. So yeah, we do this. The lines is open, so it's gonna always be opportunities for people to chime in, and you may see me on someone else's panel, someone else's platform. So feel free to shout out. Like you said, the lead attorney, TLA, friend of the program, as well as AV. All of them are friends of your success concierge. We family, and so I want to see them do well, and I want to always support them and big up them in any way that I can. So absolutely. All right. So let's see. Let's see what else we got here. See what else we got going on in the chat right here. Yeah, this right here. Y'all gonna get me because I said this right. What are your thoughts on the NBA playoffs? Well, see, playoffs is where I'm a former athlete, and it's always it comes down to what do you do when the game is on the line when it matters most. I used to joke with people. One of my lines would be when I going back to high school. I said, "Hey, when the game was on the line, the ball was in my hand. They knew me. I wasn't gonna turn it over. I can make the clutch free throw. I can find the open man, or if I need to get a bucket, if they call for, I can do that. But wasn't afraid of the moment. All right, so that's what the playoffs is about. This is where they separate the real from the pretenders. Right. So it doesn't matter what your record is how you show up when it's time to play. You can have a top seed play well. You can have a bottom seed play well. You can have favorites get upset, like we've seen that a lot. It's about performing, and so I know there's been some furious endings. The other day you had Philadelphia. I can't remember who they were playing, but Philadelphia and New York, and that came down to the wire. Interesting game. You had Denver and LA, Mile High. I'm sure you're happy about that outcome. But the fascinating thing is I really don't watch till the playoffs because they don't really take the regular season seriously. But this is an exciting time. Let's see how it plays out. A lot of interesting stories we're going to see, but that is one benefit. Not really a fan of the play-in, but the playoffs itself. That's kind of cool. All right, and let's see here. This is one of my colleagues sent me this question right here. All right, did I hear about Reggie Bush, and what are your thoughts? Yeah, so I think it's good. And for those who don't know, Reggie Bush, some people may know him because he used to date Kim Kardashian briefly. Others may know him. He was played for the Saints, won Super Bowl with them. But before that, he was a great running back, or he was running back, kick returner. I think he sometimes played in the slot. Very versatile football player at USC. USC has had some great running backs, great stars, including the late O.J. Simpson, Marcus Allen, Matt Leinart. That they just have always brought in good talent. All right. So Reggie Bush won the Heisman, and then one of the things they stripped him of it because at the time it was not like it is now, where players could maximize their image, their likeness, and get paid. And so he was ruled ineligible because they said he took improper benefits, and so they stripped him of his Heisman Trophy, and then they also stripped USC of their wins and their title. So now, because of the new landscape, which is good, I would love to work with, and I even do somewhat behind the scenes, talk to high schools about image. But now they're able to make finance and capitalize on their image, their brand, their name. They call it NIL deals. You probably heard recently, Angel Reese from LSU. She had one. Caitlin Clark, some other athletes as well too had that. So now it's okay for athletes to take money. So what they did was they went back and said, okay, since the landscape has changed, we're going to give you back your Heisman Trophy. So now, since he's received that, he's able to, because Heisman Trophy winners, they get to vote on the future Heisman Trophy winners as well. They get association connection and whatnot. So basically, before that, they kicked him out. He couldn't be in there, and now they've reinstated him. And so I think that's good for that. I want to see it go further. Because you have instances like with the Fab Five, the basketball team, where they were stripped of their wins as well too, because they say some of the players took improper benefits as well. So I think as a whole, I like players being able to maximize their income opportunities. I think it's good for them, so they're not getting exploited in the sense that they're doing the labor and they're not getting any of the benefit. But also too, I think it relieves pressure as well too, because if you have this player and they're okay getting money, because that especially on the men's side and maybe even on women's sides and even in less popular sports, because you think of basketball, football as being the popular ones, the revenue generating ones, but even less popular sports like the track and fields. I think I know some people who have some deals with that. That little bit of money can help them focus on, instead of having to get a second or third job, they can focus on academics, right? To eat and do other things, because not all athletes, some get partial scholarships, some get different things. So it allows them to really focus on doing schoolwork, learning, growing, and getting money that way. And so then they can say, okay, I'm taken care of, I'm getting some type of financing. So there's no pressure on me to leave early or make this move, because again, I can get money like that. So I think that is good. I think that is good, a good start for that, and maybe we'll see that in some other areas as well too. So salute to Reggie Bush as well. All right, so let's see what else we got here. All right, let's see. Do you think it's important to wear a watch? Absolutely. And let me just tell you something here, right? A lot of people have gone away from wearing watches, especially men as well as women. They've gone away from wearing watches because we carry our phones out, and that it tells the time. People don't really people are not going to really ask you what time it is. You get rarely, not like you used to, and then people are going with the digital watches as well too. I like the wristwatch because one, the messaging that it sends, right? See, even here, I have on my wristwatch. This is a real watch here. I have this, but the watch shows one, punctuality, promptness, and it's just a level of sophistication. Now, I know people have the digital watches, which okay, it's cool for certain things if you're doing that, but I like the fashion of the watch. It shows the sophistication, the dedication of time, and the classiness that I like it to. And so, if you like watches, cool. I like them as well too. I like the messaging as it sends, because again, you want to, if you dressed up and you looking nice and you have a digital watch, or you miss, man, it adds so much to your wardrobe, so much to your outfit, having the watch, having the fine timepiece. So this is my everyday watch. I do have a nicer one as well too. May get some more in the future. And one thing for gentlemen is, like, a watch is something that you can pass down. So if you have sons, get a watch for all your sons, and when it was time, whether they graduate, whether you pass on, go ahead, give them that watch as a gift. So watches, as they say, are timeless. And I even have pocket watches as well too. I may break that out for the Kentucky Derby, but we shall see. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, all right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. How do I overcome my deficiencies in business and life? All right. This is a good question, and I see this with my clients, and and it could be a physical deficiency, not necessarily a physical deficiency. It could be something physical that you kind of want to hide or whatnot, but it could be mindset or modus operandi as well too. So let's talk about the physical side, and then let's talk about the business life side as well too. So on the physical side, there are certain features that you have. You may be taller, you may be shorter. You may have a little bit more girth in the midsection. You may be busty. These are different features that you may have. You may have, longer hair, shorter hair, all these types of things, right? And so overcoming them, you can do two ways. We can um, one, make them not the center of it, which is highlighting your good qualities in your other areas. And then the other thing is coming up with, we call it a strategy or a workaround. And I'll give you some examples of that really quickly, right? So first thing first, those are just on the physical side. When in those, some of those things you can work on. So if you don't like your weight, you can go to the gym, right? You can exercise, you can dress a certain way. Those are different things you can improve. You can get a haircut, you can shave your face, shave your beard, do all these type of things on those sides, right? Other areas, it may require you to read a book, get some additional knowledge, get some training, get some coaching. Those are ways to improve on your deficiencies, right? But then there may be certain things, whether it's self-imposed or beyond your control. So now you have to come up with a strategy to maximize it. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's just say you're a basketball player, right? Now, you may be 6 feet tall. Now, for a regular human being, that's tall, but for a professional basketball player, that's on the short side. So you know you're short. So what are some things you can do? You can make sure you handle the ball well. You can make sure you shoot well. You can develop other skills and talents to make you a complete basketball player that you would not have that you can use to your advantage, since you're not going to be one of the taller players. All right. And so let's just say you're in business and you're a small business. Okay. What are some things you can use to your advantage that you're not, because you're not a large business? You can do more customer service. You can be more hands-on. You can be more active. You have to look at, okay, these are some areas, whether they're things I can control or things of my choosing that are like this. How do I strategize and maximize that into being something better, right? Into being something that's going to be adding more value to those particular areas. So that's something that I work with people all the time on. And I don't know, hopefully I answered that question, but it could be we may need to have a specific, more in-depth conversation so I can learn more about what exactly that you have going on and how we maximize that, because it could be things that you see and you may have not thought about all the possibilities, right? Maybe there's some possibilities that working together we can identify that helps you get through that and overcome that challenge. So now that deficiency is now a strength, or now it's maximized and it's no longer an issue. All right. So yeah, I would definitely like to have a deeper conversation with you on that, and we can go into that. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. Let's see what we got going on. It's Taurus season. Yeah, it is Taurus season. I know some Tauruses as well too. So salute to those. Salute to the Aries as well. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Got time for one more question, maybe. Let's see if we don't have anything going to chat. How do you feel about visible piercings? Now, again, is this piercings for men or piercings for women? That makes a difference, and it also makes a difference on the type of piercing, right? So here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter whether it's piercing, tattoos, the rules still apply. Okay. And this is if it's visible. So if it's visible, like you can remove piercings, but tattoos, not so much. But where are you going to wear it to? Right. And it may be something you're going to wear every day, not every day, what have you. All right. But then the other thing that's most important is, what is the message that you want to send? They're like, tattoos run the gamut, and I'm not going to really get into that. They can be tasteful, not tasteful, meaningful, all type of things, right? But what is the meaning that you're sending with that and want to see? Same with your piercings, because I was challenged one time because I had an ear piercing. You can't see it, I don't have it now, but I got my ear pierced, and the person asked me, okay, why do you wear it? I said, because I like it. And really got down to it. He said, because you're rebellious, you kind of want to show that you can wear an earring and still be successful, still be those things. And that person was absolutely right. That was the reason I was wearing it. Now, that could help me, but that could also hurt me. And so I had to make a decision, was that worth it to me to continue to do that, right? And so I chose not. But you could choose whatever you choose, because again, your profession may allow that. The message that you're trying to send may work towards your outcomes. So I would, I'm not opposed to it, but I would also dig deeper into, why what's the message that you want to send and the type of settings that you have. Now, I think I've covered this, maybe not here, maybe other places, but I'm sure that there are celebrities and politicians who have tattoos and piercings. but you won't see them because they kind of keep those covered. And I know people who specifically have tattoos. They say, okay, I want this tattoo in this place so I can wear, I can have it, but it's covered. So you have to think about your messaging, your profession, the things that you're looking to do, right? And so as it relates to image in those things, because even someone asked me about cutting their dreads, the closer you are to, I guess, the ideal and the culture of the organization you're working with, the easier it is for you to be more flexible. And I use, because we're talking about Master P. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about Lil Wayne. Let's talk about Jay-Z. Jay-Z before he had the long dreads. Because of his appearance, he could get into spaces and be around people that Lil Wayne and some other people who couldn't be around, right? And some people, they're okay with being in their circle. Some people want to expand their circle. So we just have to identify, is that helping you or hurting you in your quest and or your journey? And so that's my answer, or as you say, not answer, but that is that right there. So let's see if we got any more chats in the questions in the chat. See what's going on. All right. Well, man, this has been great. Hopefully, y'all have enjoyed this case study. Hopefully, I've answered all your questions. You can always reach out to me on IG, YouTube, wherever. I'm here. I'm out here because I want to make sure that you are winning. You are putting your best foot forward, and you are making a good first impression because you only get one chance to do that. And you don't want to not make a good first impression and suffer the consequences. You don't want to not get that opportunity to close that you want to close. And you don't want to not be serving your ideal customers, because when it's not you, it's going to someone else. Someone's living your lifestyle. They living your dream, living your opportunity, serving your customers. We don't want that. So I'll make it easy. Just reach out to me and we can do that. Like, I'm on Cash App. I can put let's see here. You want to donate? All right, let me put the Cash App up here. Let's see, because we have not gotten to the point where we are monetized yet. But yeah, I'm on Cash App. This is it right here. So feel free. And also, too, people can put their questions in the Cash App as well. So thank you, Maha Gamma. Anytime. I mean, I appreciate any support. I'm going to be launching a website soon, and so what's going to be the website? Website will people will be able to see information about the services I provide, affiliation, and also to make it a lot easier for if they want to book or work with me. Make it a lot easier. I want to see, one thing about business is about doing things streamlined, making it easier for people to interact and do business with you. People like simple things, right? Complexity makes people confused, and confused people do nothing. So I want to make it simple. And for those of you out there, you should definitely look at making it simple. Are your processes simple? And that's going to allow individuals to interact with you as well too. So that's what we got there. Let's see if we got any questions. The condemned man, salute to you. We appreciate you. I'm gonna put this up here real quick because in case somebody wants to come up and chat real quick, or I think there's some basketball games on tonight. I mean, it's a Wednesday. Uh, you may be out doing what you do, but I'll hold it open just a little bit longer, see what we got going on over here, and then we'll let y'all enjoy y'all evening. All right. Well, no. So salute to everyone for tuning in. Again, I'm here to serve, here to add value, and stay tuned in. We got another. I've already. So usually I kind of plan these out. I've already got a good case study. I got two coming up that you're gonna enjoy. Um, I'm constantly looking at inspiration. I get inspiration from life. I get inspiration from people. I get inspiration from lessons learned, trends, different things like that, because I want to use those to add value, not just to myself, but add value to you guys as well, and just educate from this particular perspective. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're gonna call it an evening, and I appreciate y'all. I'm Eric Carr, your success concierge, providing you the vision, tools, and opportunity for your desired success. Thank you again. Salute, and we are out.